Hello, everyone. Hello, Dr. Bakr.
Hello, Marina. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you very much, Dr. Bakr. Nice to see you again.
Thank you so much.
And I believe at this point we are ready to get started. I would like to welcome the new attendees coming in. Okay, at this point, I would like to make an introduction for you, Dr. Bakr. Yes, I don't know if you can hear me well. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Perfect. So for those of you who don't know Dr. Bakr, Dr. Hisham Bakr holds a PhD in Business and Management from the University of Southern Queensland in Australia. His expertise encompasses business development, marketing, sales, public relations, customer service, and executive management. Currently, he serves as a unit coordinator and lecturer at the Australian Institute of Higher Education, AIH, and the Victorian Institute of Technology, VIT, in Melbourne, where he incorporates global perspectives into his curriculum. Dr. Bakr's academic career includes positions as a lecturer at the University of East London, UEL, in the UK, and as an academic instructor at UNICAF University in Cyprus, as well as the University of Suffolk and Liverpool John Moores University in the UK. He has established a strong international presence in education. In addition to his academic contributions, Dr. Bakr has substantial industry experience. He previously held positions such as the Chief Executive Officer, CEO of Arabian Explorers Destination Management in the Middle East and North Africa, and the General Manager and Transnil Travel and Business Development Director at Cosmopetra in the Middle East. Fluent in English, French, and Arabic, Dr. Bakr effectively engages with diverse student populations. His dedication to student success is evident in the positive testimonials that highlight his supportive teaching style. Through his research, he addresses contemporary challenges focusing on university social responsibility, corporate social responsibility, and customer relationship management, particularly in relation to the experiences of international students.
So hi everyone again. So I believe if someone attend from Australia, it's 10 p.m. So you should be very courageous to attend that time. And for anyone who is living in Queensland, please be safe because of the bad weather expected starting from tomorrow. And we will start our seminar about the coding in qualitative research concept maps. Actually, I'm going to visualize the data connection for a deeper insight and analysis, how we can create the concept maps, how we can integrate some qualitative and quantitative research at the same time. So it should be very interesting to go through all details today. Thank you so much, Marina and Christina, for having this introduction about myself. And I have more or less 30 years academic experience and professional experience. Academic-wise, I do have an extensive experience in 7 different universities in Australia and overseas. And I do have more than 5 years academic experience as a unit coordinator and lecturer, as well as executive levels in the business and management, especially in the travel industry, and some of the engineering consultancy as a business consultant and business development director. Today, actually, we are going to have some valuable inputs to understand by the end of this seminar. So we are going to divide the presentation actually for a couple of hours. The first 1 hour, I'll be trying as much as possible to finish in 60 minutes. And we will have 1 hour for question and answers and to cover any queries or any clarification you may need. So today we are going to have a good understanding about the concept and purpose of coding, why you are doing the coding in qualitative research, how to create and use the concept maps to organize and analyze data in qualitative mode, how to explore the different type of concept maps and their application in research, as well as identifying the benefits and challenges of using these concept maps in the coding process, how to familiarize ourselves about the software tools, most commonly NVivo, the most famous qualitative tools in analyzing the qualitative data. And we do have also free access tools, free of charge, easy to access, and simple to use as well in small research. How to gain practical knowledge about how concept maps enhance the pattern identification and theme analysis. This will be today topics we are going to cover during this webinar. So starting by some brief introduction about what is a qualitative research actually. From my academic side and previous expertise in my PhD research, and as well in some of the researches I have been co-authoring with some other researchers, I love the qualitative research for what is it's very deep and critical analysis. It's a lovely journey actually, just to break down the codes, to break down the concept mapping, themes, create some integrated concept maps, and drive your keywords into any qualitative surveys, focus group, semi-structured interview, and you can convert this data to pre-numerical data, so you can integrate into the SPSS, and you can also have graphics, visual presentation to convert your qualitative data in a simple way to numerical, and then enhance the numerical data using SPSS IBM software for integration to create a lovely presentation and research. So it is most commonly focused on understanding human experiences or experiences in general, some behavior, human behavior. Most commonly, if you would like to use eye tracking methodology, you can have sometimes sentiments analysis in some qualitative research as well. All these kind of methods, and under the umbrella of the methodology of qualitative research, it's a very broader pool of size and integration of research implications. The analysis actually of this data, it is very meaningful insights. Let's say that you are going to focus on exploring in your qualitative research human experience, behavior, and social phenomena. So the aim of this insightful analysis, critical analysis, most commonly the best fit methodology or methods, critical incident to analyze the phenomena, or to analyze some content on the social media platform, to count the track or repeatance of some data available on any topic you would like to analyze, or you are acting as a director in the digital marketing, you would like to focus about the customer behavior, customer interest, customer satisfaction, customer sentiments, and posting on your platform if there is any feedback about some complaints, some lack of performance from your customer service team, etc. It's very insightful to know how to go and analyze qualitative data from even the feedback, customers' feedback, how to track the total reach and total engagement on any social media. So it's completely different to have, I have 100,000 followers, for example. So if you are going to have 100,000 followers, it's not the aim or objectives you would like to have. But most commonly, you need to focus on how many from these 100,000 followers you need to convert to people who are engaging with your business. This is a total engagement from this total reach. And here comes the critical and crucial role of qualitative research, how we can analyze the content of our total reach pool and what is the best methodology and strategy to do the digital marketing if we would like to have some high percentage of total engagement in our research. I'm just giving an example. It's unlimited examples for how you can use that qualitative research to have very impressive results, especially in the business management industry. It's very worthy to study well how you can do that. So the aim most commonly, as I was sharing with everyone, so the qualitative research, it's a lovely tool to analyze the micro factors that you can't analyze quantitatively. And you need a very critical focus and very critical analysis, because you can go out of the box most commonly in your qualitative research. It's not like a superficial research or ideas. You need to go very critically and understand beyond expectation what is needed exactly into your research and how you can deliver the best outcome through this analysis. Some of the methods you can have, as I was sharing, interviews, focus groups, observation, and content analysis. Content analysis, actually, I made some strong introduction about how the social media platform, how even some of the hypermarkets and shopping center can use the AI tools to determine how many people are in their outlets and sending you SMS notification to visit their shops or to come and have some special discount, etc. It's all through some advanced techniques integrated into the business management techniques and marketing to assess and send unfortunately approach the total reach and try to convert as much as possible some high percentage of total engagement to the business outlets, including in any shopping center. You can have also some text, audio, or video. In the observation part, as a methodology, you need to track and to be very observing eye contacts and body language of any participants. For sure, you have to include clearly a consent about this is a video presentation, a video interview, or you can have the right in some cases to have only audio presentation or interview focus group. And you need to determine what should be the benefits and disadvantage as well of this kind of observation, not to have any informal harassment because of the culture diversity difference. And this is very critical, especially if you are going to use a semi-structured way for the interview. It needs previous expertise in the qualitative research to implement this technique. Otherwise, you can lose the control of the interview, especially if you are managing executive management level of interview. If you don't have previous strong background about how you can manipulate the semi-structured interview way, and how you can explore the observation, especially in the high executive level, who they are most commonly go back and forth to avoid having a clear, straightforward answer to your questions. You need to go through observations and semi-structured way to reach the best outcome of your qualitative research and interview. Become after what is coding actually. So let's say I'm sending survey, a qualitative survey to people. It's an open-end questions. So I need to categorize actually into themes or into category. So this survey, it can be mixed methodology between qualitative and quantitative with using some kind of Likert scale and multiple choice answer. So you can count the frequency of yes and no or multiple choice and convert it to quantitative research very easily and very quickly. So comes after you can convert to graphics, diagrams, and you can explore and analyze the data and reach your outcome. However, into making some coding and labeling into the open-end question most commonly in the part of any survey, you need to track the frequency of the keywords. You need to set up firstly some keywords you have to tailor-made or to draft to assess the qualitative software to count for you how many people, for example, are including in their answers about the quality of customer service, how many people are unhappy, how many people are referring to corporate social responsibility, how many people to say we need to have some of the university social responsibility and so on. So as per your research, even medical research, even you can assess any kind of data or topics as per your research questions and convert into a list of keywords that they are all combining to the focus group of your research and track the frequency of repeatance into your qualitative data. So you can make the coding process as per identifying the patterns, concept, and relationship in the data. For example, in my research, in my PhD research, I was assessing the Australian Bureau of Statistics information published on their on the government website about the overseas enrollment during the COVID in 2022. And I realized that there is some conflicts between the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Education Employment and Employability and Skills. There is some transition happened in May 2022, and there is some conflicts and discrepancy in the information available. So I was extracting this information. I was identifying into an advanced way using Excel spreadsheet, advanced techniques with Excel to analyze the data, create some graphics and diagrams, and create the links and interlinks that led to identify this confusion and reflection about liminality, marginalization, and mental health issue happening to the overseas students during the COVID, led to kicking out the higher education sector from the top 10 of the GDP in Australia to an unidentified rank. It was the third among the GDP top 10. After this confusion and conflicts happening for a couple of years from 2020 until May or June 2022, Australia actually was mostly out of the higher education sector from the market because of other country and other pioneers in the online education approaches a high percentage of the overseas students in Australia. And this has to be avoided if they are using some techniques for strategy to make students retention. If they were in a position to read my research and identify how can we assess the student satisfaction and how we can implement some university social responsibility initiated from the corporate social responsibility that all the university all the universities are business organization, and they must treat students as customers. For sure, there is an academic integrity relationship between the students and the academic team and the administration team, enrollment, etc. But however, we must, as experts in the business management field and sector, practically and professionally and academically, we have to treat the students as customers to reach the higher level of student satisfaction, to draw a higher education policy and a higher education policy, because it is reflecting on the GDP of the country, not only in Australia, everywhere in the world. So I draw in this qualitative research, actually, some roadmap to the Australian federal government to use it, how you can explore the potential of the education sector in Australia, and you can maximize the GDP. Not only this, you will have how to avoid through some advanced technique in the CRM system and integration with all the universities in Australia, in all the 8 states, different states. And for sure, there will be in advanced stage some integration with the AI to use the implication of the fourth industrial revolution, or FIR. So codes actually are, you can break down into small chunks, words, phrases, symbols that represent your data. So I can give you some example of coding. If we are talking about the students, because actually we do have lots of pioneer universities in the education sector, and I can also share my word of mouth about UNICAF as one of the pioneer leading online universities and teaching platform around the world. UNICAF was one of the leading online platforms that was trying to penetrate in this lovely industry to provide some affordable cost for teaching and higher accredited universities around the world, across the globe, providing some critical, important and crucial role of university social responsibility, not only having the business-oriented intention and having the aim of quality education around the world. So if I'm going to have the students feel overwhelmed by the workload, if I'm assessing in my research, for example, the stress and anxiety about any students, so it's enough that I'm sending some small survey, regardless the advanced techniques that I can have the eye tracking methodology, even through surfing through my website, I can see the eye tracking and eye angles of some of them using some consent or agreement that everyone agree before proceeding, or using some advanced cookies on my platform, etc., to assess the benefits of the mental health for everyone. In addition, I can send some surveys. I can ask the students. If the reply, for example, in one of the surveys reflects that the students feel overwhelmed, I can code overwhelmed, because I need to categorize into stress and anxiety. And if the teacher provides consistent support to the students, so I can have coding, teacher support, high academic level, and it could be categorized into the support system. However, if the curriculum is difficult to navigate, it might be two stuff, not only one. It might be educational challenge as a category, and it might be also curriculum design. So I can categorize, and I will show you in the concept maps how you can link and interlink between the educational challenges and the curriculum design. So both here, I'll try to point here, just to let you see, difficult curriculum, it could be educational challenge, and it could be also curriculum design here. If you do have the course structure is too rigid and doesn't allow for flexibility. It is very close to the curriculum, is difficult to navigate. So I can link and interlink between difficult curriculum and rigid structure to have the same category as a curriculum design or educational challenge that are reflecting the same. People are saying you have a poor quality of service. So I can convert customer to category customer dissatisfaction or customers complain or complaints. I'm very happy about your service. So I can have conversion to category customer satisfaction and so on. Using different words navigate, I can apply as much as I can as keywords through my coding, especially if you are going to use in the qualitative research via through the NVivo software, and I can categorize. And this is not a random categorize, because all these surveys or qualitative research, it is linked about my research topic, research questions, which should be or must be 2 to 3 research questions, no more. Because more research questions, you are going to lose control of your research and you are going to be distracted about the focus point of the research. As an example, in my PhD research, I have 335 pages analyzing CRM, corporate social responsibility, and university social responsibility. I do have 2 frameworks. And I do have to link this business and management approaches and theories with liminality, marginalization, and mental health. So I do have the focus point is student satisfaction. The focus point was CRM and CSR, corporate social responsibility. So you should go back and forth throughout the full research without losing control of your focus point. Create a clear, consistent, and to the point. Each place into your research, you need to go back and forth to the focus point to clarify to the audience and reader and the examiner how your research is concise and precise and to the point. Otherwise, you will lose control and even you will be very distracting about finding the enough appropriate resources to get from the scholarly researches to include and involve in your research. Is the coding important in qualitative research? The answer will be absolutely yes, because without breaking into manageable chunks or small parts, chunks is small parts, any small parts, if you have a big piece of anything, you need to cut into small pieces to be able to manage, to eat, to lift, to weight, to do anything. So breaking down or splitting the content of your qualitative research into manageable small parts or chunks, it is converting complex data throughout the coding process to small parts that you can assess and integrate, make the links and interlinks throughout the process. So it's not a matter only to have these small parts, but you can identify, after breaking down into small parts or chunks, you can identify the repeating patterns, trends, or themes, and you can facilitate a deeper insight into the research problem. As I was saying, try all the time to lead your analysis to the focus point, to the research problem, to the research gap, because most commonly, if you have a problem, you must have a research gap. What is the research problem? I want to identify. I was going through mainly the CSR in my research to identify what a big gap into the implication of the CSR. That's why I was analyzing 37 previous definition for the CSR, corporate social responsibility, starting from the famous pyramid for Carroll's in 1917s and going up to the recent definition for the CSR number 37. And then I was capable to determine and define my 38th definition by Hisham Bakr, and integrating some critical need to use the corporate social responsibility in an obligation throughout all the association. Is that how can I make such an obligation actually in universities, in business organizations, throughout some integration of something I call the triple win business approach, and generating more business revenues to the business place, regardless, university, business platform, engineering, mining field, government performance. I was presenting 5 seminars in Australia between 2020 and 2024 or 23. And I was analyzing, presenting 15 minutes to the point presentation about the Australian government performance. How can they have a huge potential during in more than 8 million kilometers square, and how can they are using their sources, and which is the best way to maximize revenues through at least one of the most critical industry, the education and higher education in Australia. So analyzing these deeper insights and using for systematic data analysis is very important through the coding and going through this analysis. And secondly, what are the concept maps actually? So the concept maps, we need to gather the coding we did into visual presentation. And before having this visual presentation, we need to create the links and interlinks. Not only the visual presentation by creating diagrams, etc. However, we need to make this analysis or coding represented into visual presentation. So we are going to go through a couple of processes. The first process, we are going to organize and structure the data that helps identify all kinds of patterns and themes we have in our research, and then display a concept or a simple concept map as an example. So you should break down, you should simplify. Not everyone is specialized into your research topic. Once I'm teaching my students at the University of East London and Unicaf University, so I'm all the time getting different research topics that I don't have expertise, but I can assess the quality of the research because I'm not going into technical parts, I'm going into academic part and how they are creating the concept maps in their analysis, how they are creating patterns, how they are innovative, most commonly in their research. And from there, I can give my word if it is an impressive research, it works for future collaboration, for publication, and give a constructive feedback to go from there. However, this visual representation, it will be much more clear once I go through how to convert the concept maps to quantitative analysis. This is a key part that everyone must know. It's not a matter just to purchase the NVivo software, or you can have a free demo version. You can have some access to finish and accomplish your research, but however, you must understand how it works. The same way you use the NVivo, you can implement and integrate with free of charge access to Excel spreadsheets. So Excel spreadsheets, if you are studying or learning advanced techniques analysis on the Excel, you can perform all kind of qualitative research, which I fortunately did in my PhD research. I was converting everything on Excel spreadsheets, developed, creating, adapting from credible aggregated sources from the Australian government platforms, and integrating, converting into graphics and charts, analyzing the data. Many people, many researchers are only very happy once they are including graphics and charts without any further explanation or just referring to the appendices. Charts cannot be explained virtually from any reader. You must analyze critically, very deep, very critical analysis, especially in the qualitative research, to allow people understand your graphics. You must understand, you must let your audience understand what you mean by your graphics, what you mean by everything, including into any figures or graphics. So first step into converting your concept maps to qualitative analysis, you need to count the frequency of codes and themes and how often each code appears in your data. If you are using software like NVivo, everything is counted automatically, so you don't need to do any manual work. But however, if you are just proceeding or performing some focus group interview for 8 to 10 people, it's easy to do this manually. It's not a big hurdle for anyone to count what is the frequency for each code in your interview, especially if you are assessing any human behavior. So it will be much more accurate to use yourself as a human that was interacting physically with the participants, watching eye contacts, body languages, using some semi-structured techniques to avoid people not to answer any of your questions and reach the best truth and quality of your research. So the second part or the next step, so measure the relationship. So quantify the strength of frequency. How often, for example, the customer satisfaction or the quality part is repeated. And you can, for example, link to strong CRM system, customer relationship management. If you have a high repeatance of quality, customer satisfaction, student satisfaction, and so on, so you do have very high interlinks with the CRM. So this place or this business organization must have a good, strong CRM system that was assessing and tracking. Why customer relationship management? Because if you do have a high quality of customer satisfaction or student satisfaction, you must have an automation system that it is really integrated with a human intervention. All the time I was repeating for 4 years during my study that the automation are very helpful, but they are very silly, because we are feeding the AI tools with what we need. If we are feeding these AI tools inappropriately, we will have very silly outcomes. But however, if you are updating through an integration director or manager whose role is just to follow the CRM performance link to the organization objectives, we are going to have a very strong outcome. In some of the universities, for example, they are sending automated message to students. We will drop you study because you are not paying your tuition. However, the same students are on a leave of absence. So how can you drop my study and I'm legally performing to any visa obligation at the place or at the country, and I don't have to pay any fees because I am on a leave of absence. So that makes sense that the CRM implications are not so far updated and there is no integration with human intervention. They are robotic. And if they are robotic, you must expect some unusual behavior, and it will reflect for sure customer or students' dissatisfaction about this panic, this mental health stress while you are. So measuring the relationship to quantify these trends is very important to create properly the relationship. If you create any links or interlinks inappropriately, you won't be able to reach the critical analysis throughout the qualitative research. So transforming these themes, or we can say subjects, into scales, it's very easy. So you can convert these themes into Likert type scale for the quantitative measurement, like customer satisfaction or rate or high price, low price, etc. Any kind of engineering sector, any kind of medical research, you can create the scales through the appropriate coding relevant to your research. It's not a matter to use the same examples I'm sharing. I'm just giving my area of expertise. But however, there are plenty of unlimited researchers around the globe. They are much more keen and knowledgeable about their research topics. Break down your qualitative research into any industry into small scales, small subjects, and create links and interlinks through the coding and repeatings of the frequency of repeaters of each chunks. So you can create a semantic coding matrix. You can convert to statistical analysis. You can use chi-square, you can use correlations. Everything will be very easy for you through the SPSS because it is working automatically. But you must firstly have a good training about how to use it to reach the outcomes that you need to have. If you have limited access, and in some of the universities, or especially in the online learning, it's limited sources, especially if you are doing doctoral study, you are not allocated any funds or budgets for your research in some of the occasions. So it is very easy to use Excel spreadsheets, but you must have also an advanced training about how you can extract this statistical analysis through the Excel, how you can create charts, how you can make all kinds of variables, statistical. Everything is available on the Excel, and you can use it simply after a good, insightful training you may have. Develop indices or score. You have to weight each of your themes. Based on what? Based on the importance, frequency, and create a score for each one. And you can summarize at the end all together through integration between NVivo and SPSS. If you don't have NVivo, you need to break down your analysis through the Excel. It will be a bit complex and hard if you don't have enough training, but however, it will be quicker and then integrate. SPSS and NVivo, I believe they have a free demo, but you have to be very prudent. Otherwise, if you don't finish within the trial period they are going to provide for you, you must purchase the software. But if you are ready to integrate your data into the software, extracting your charts and maps and everything, and then proceed for the deep analysis, critical analysis as easy as you can, so it will be a good idea. Be ready with your data, and you will have at least 1 month. You can integrate, extract the charts and graphics and all the visual forms, and then make a copy, save your copy, integrate. For sure, do not forget to reference the sources of your extraction created by yourself as a researcher, and cite the sources that I have been using, SPSS or NVivo as a free demo, as an acknowledge to their techniques throughout the research. I can give you different example. Let's leave now the students and universities, and we can go for business world to have another customer satisfaction or product quality example. So if I need to draft my concept map for the product quality, you can see in this example both the product quality and customer service are reaching the same category, which is customer experience. So I want to reach a high quality of customer experience. So break down links and interlinks. So assess the product quality as code, assess the impact, direct and indirect, assess the influence on the customer experience behavior, and link both of them to customer experience. Both high quality and high customer service will lead to customer experience, good customer experience, customer satisfaction. Not only customer satisfaction, customer experience could be also including customer loyalty, customer promoter. If you are going promoter, if you are happy, if you are satisfied. I was teaching my students at the Australian Institute of Higher Education in the digital marketing and customer satisfaction quality management. I was saying customer satisfaction is the first step. However, if you do have a good CRM system, you can have customer loyalty. Customer will come back to you. Just drop a message to any of your customer at their birthday and say, happy birthday, we want to make your day happy, special. Every business place has personal data for their customers. At least they do have their phone. It's not necessary to have your birth date or whatever, but at least some of the smart business places, they do have the birth date. Drop a message to your customers in special date and say, hello, we are here. They will say, I need to return to this place again. So it's a promoter. He start to be loyal. He start to be having a good customer satisfaction. And the next stage will be loyalty. And then not only loyalty, he is going to struggle for you. If anyone says this is not a good place, say no, this is a wonderful place. I promote this place to you to go and try. Maybe you didn't face a good experience, but by my experience, this is a promoter. He's promoting to you. And once the customer experience is promoting, so you can have the best of the best outcome, because he or she can be reaching an influencer to your business. So both of the quality, product quality and customer service are leading to the same category. And you can create the relationship between the concept, product quality and customer service, as I was explaining. They are both interacting and influencing the customer experience. So they are all walking and going the same direction, or the same arrows direction. From this concept map example, you can determine one important brainstorming to yourself. You're going to ask yourself, is creating the coding comes before or after the concept maps? So I believe many of you were asking, which step are first, coding or concept maps? Shall I draw the concept maps first or doing the coding first? So the answer will be surely the coding first. Because if you don't do the coding first, and I'll show you another example, you won't be capable to have the concept map. For example, this example, if I didn't have the coding done first, how can I reach this concept map? I was breaking down any qualitative research analysis into quality, customer service, performance or level of satisfaction, and many other keywords and coding. To reach what? To categorize. I'm categorizing customer experience. I want to analyze the customer experience throughout the product quality impacts, etc., and customer service, and create some correlation or relationship between both of them to create my concept map. So the concept map comes next or after the coding. Or I can break down the interview to field notes into smaller segments. Some of the ideas, some of the themes, subjects, and represent the purpose for this coding. Identify and label all these kind of segments linked to your research questions or patterns. So I have to break down to any small notes throughout the process of interview, and then identify what are the category linked to my research that are dropping. If I'm analyzing the customer relationship, so I was analyzing the critical records for people. What relationship between people studying in China and having discrimination with my research? Yes, I was assessing overseas students in Australia and elsewhere, in UK and in many other countries, and I was making comparison about the university's behavior and creating links and interlinks that will confirm by evidence that while having a high university social responsibility, I will have a high record of student satisfaction. People who are going to promote to my business as a university, every place in the world, including even the affordable online education, they are all business organizations. None of them are non-profit organizations, even though you are providing high scholarship, because we are collecting money. And once we are collecting money, it's a business organization. So we must link to the double win business approach. And if someone would like to be positioning in a different position, just go and check the triple win business approach that I reached in my research, and how you can generate more business and customer satisfaction and student satisfaction while having a good implication, advanced techniques of CRM. And by the end of the day, you are doing very well by contributing to the corporate social responsibility, and you are performing customer satisfaction and student satisfaction, and you are generating more money. I was very proud in one of the students I was teaching, to be honest, many students that I was teaching, that they are sharing testimonials with me, and I shared with academic team at both UNICEF and the University of East London, that some of the students, MBA students, are very serious to enroll in the PhD because of the techniques of education they were delivered. And this is something I was very happy, because in my research, I want to support every students around the world, especially the overseas students. That's the restriction that I was having with my university before publishing my research. It must be free of charge access for every place, everyone around the world. So I'm not someone who is looking for money, but however, I would like to do something good. Once you have an innovative idea, you can create lots of money, but at least be good while doing something good, and money will come by a way or another. In any business, you are going to generate too much money. Why coding comes first? Because Coding is going to identify all kinds of themes and data points essential for your map. Without coding customer satisfaction and quality, I'm going to go back, sorry. Without coding the product quality and customer service, I won't be able to have or reach the customer experience level. Is that good or bad? By analyzing these codings before the category I was reached at the end. So coding all the time comes first because it is clarifying, clearing your way to identify the themes, and the essential points to organize your map and define what kind of links and interlinks. After the concept maps, after coding, why the concept maps? Because you need to visualize. You need to visualize the relationships between these codes and themes. You are analyzing some medical issues in a rural place, or you are analyzing lack of performance of engineering design for any reason in some cities around the world. Why you are analyzing this? So they do have expert for engineering design, but they don't have funds. So you are arranging for analyzing the quality of performance in this country or city and say why we can't say. So you need to go and visualize why we are not good in engineering design, although we do have too many people expert and smart in doing that. Because there are issues. If you are going to code throughout the research questions and break down into small parts linked to the focus point of your research, what you need to look for, what is a research problem or gap, or gaps even sometimes, and link codes, you are going to see the problem beyond expectation. Maybe it will be in any other research some culture issues, some geographical issue, or topography. Topography is something related to the topography of the country or the place. So it must be assessed and identified in any qualitative research. And once you are going to process, the concept maps will show how codes connect. You are going to see the interactions and links and interlinks, or sublinks, or like heading and subheadings. And you are going to understand what kind of relationship between after your interpretation and your critical analysis. Sometimes researchers, unfortunately, didn't find the deep critical analysis they want to reach. But however, if you can even use some kind of triangulation to strengthen your outputs by having the critical incident theory implications throughout some other similar research done into your research topic, you can use this critical incident reported by other research and published in journal articles, publications, books, etc., or any even social media analysis throughout the word of mouth of platforms. But you can go, forget about Wikipedia, go to any social media platform, high frequency, because even in the social media platform, you can have lots of unlimited fake review about any product. But however, there are some of the sources that are aggregated and you can go through their platforms. They do have high reviews, high number of people, and you can even have a high percentage of transparency and aggregation, and you can use it to strengthen and integrate some kind of triangulation into your research. Can we integrate NVivo and SPSS? Yes, for sure we can. We can export the data from NVivo, and I'll be very happy also to participate in collaboration with UNICAF University to have a seminar about NVivo on the 9th of April next month. We will have much more techniques about how we use NVivo and how we can make the coding to extract the frequency themes and how we can convert into simple format Excel or CSV. And once we are extracting the data from NVivo throughout simple upload of a Word document, including into with the interview script, you can add the keywords as I was mentioning briefly, and you can have the count for the frequency or repeatance of any coding you are doing. And then NVivo is going to convert for you very easily into frequency and themes, and you can export the data into Excel spreadsheet. For me, I'm familiar much more with Excel, so I prefer Excel much more rather CSV, but it depends on your qualifications and performance. Maybe you are best more comfort with CSV, so it depends on you. Excel, I can make my analysis much more easier. I can create functions, I can create formula, I can extract the graphics, etc. So it is very familiar, and especially if you are using well, you can explore a high potential from Excel. Once you are extracting, so you have numerical data. So NVivo role is converting the text into numbers throughout the coding process, and you can have these numbers to create the concept maps and importing this into SPSS. You can extract the statistical analysis very easily if you would like to calculate the correlations or to extract the correlations, regressions, chi-square, all kind of statistical descriptive statistics. You can use it through the SPSS, which is a famous software for IBM, and you can reach the best of the best outcomes through the integration between both qualitative software like NVivo and SPSS. If you want to mix the methods throughout the mixed methods, many research are applicable to use the mixed method. It will enhance your research outcome. And you can think carefully. First part, before starting, which methodology I'm going to use. Just draft your research topic. What will be your research topic? This is the first step. If you can create title, subtitle, no more than 13 to 15 words as title and subtitle, it will be perfect fit for a research or an article. Then, once you are going to draft your research questions, and again, narrow down your research question as much as you can. In a big research or in a PhD research, which you are recommended to have at least 100,000 words into your research, you can draft 2 to 3 questions, no more. I was advised by my PhD supervisors to do that, and they were completely right. If you make your research questions very big, you will lose control about the focus point, and you won't be able to cover, because you need to integrate and include research design, philosophy, correlation, links, interlinks, create theories, include lots of academic work. If you maximize your research question, it will be very hard for you to finish, because you need to answer every part of your research question into the research, especially if it's a PhD thesis. You need to answer your research question. You need to fill the gap. or at least feel a part of this gap and have some kind of future recommendation and future research that will be complementary to your research. Triangulation, as I was saying, combining both qualitative and quantitative to have a comprehensive, insightful analysis. So before we end this slide, so the integration, yes, it lets you combine both methodology into depth with the quantitative rigor. So both of them combined, it will give you impressive results. So we are approaching nearly to the end of the webinar. So I don't like to end earlier. So we will have enough time for the question and answer. So the steps to create the concept map encoding. First step, it's data collection. So before creating a concept map after the coding, so the data collection, you can gather all the qualitative data, interview, focus group, etc. Once you finish that, and for a good outcome or a good conclusion, you have to integrate some project management study into your research, because your research is a project, and you need to include a mitigation plan into the research schedule or research plan. What if I'm performing, for example, focus group or interviews with some executive level, and some of them, or a big part of them, apologize about attending the interview? What if there is any unforeseen circumstances? What is your plan B? And when you will finish your research? So all the time, draft since the beginning your research schedule, include a mitigation plan to alleviate any crisis management that happen, and include at least one additional plan to finish on time or before time. Otherwise, you will lose control. You won't be able to reach the thesis submission or research submission on time, and you might have a high risk to lose control about your research. So this is very important. Even once I met something similar during my thesis, PhD thesis, so I was alleviating some of the risk management throughout some adaptation and minor change as per my ethics approval. And I was in a capacity to finish my research on time, because since the start, 4 years ago, once I started for 4 years my research. So I was integrating a plan B and a plan C, because it's a global research actually. And I was integrating a couple of additional plans to make sure that my research will be implemented on time. And I was completely forecasting the truth and reality. Nothing was predicting COVID-19, and nothing was predicting that we will all be in a capacity to be locked everywhere, and any interviews or focus group, no one will be able to do it because of the restrictions and travel restrictions and pandemic issues. And that's why if you are forecasting what could be happening since very early, you can draft your plan B and C, and you will be capable to have an initial reading to familiarize yourself about the data you collect and how you can identify your codes, and create some small chunks or codes, small codes, small short phrases or terms, and organize it into group or categorize. And then once you categorize, you can create the relationship and draw connection between all the themes to visualize your data. So some of the concept maps in qualitative research, you can have some kind of hierarchical concept maps, organize concept maps from broad to specific. You'll have some hierarchy between the relationship, and other are as a flow chart. You can have create the flow chart. It is usable even in PowerPoint presentation. You can create this through some techniques and tools into your smart graphics, into the PowerPoint presentation files, and you can show the process or sequence very easily. Spider diagrams, they can show the interconnections and relationship once there are too many variables. But I don't really like the spider diagrams very much, because it is a bit complex and it is not clearly showing, except if you do have too many variables. That's why if you are downsizing your research questions into very specific problems to the point, and you are addressing these gaps through the research problem or gap into your research to focus on a few variables, so you can avoid completely using the spider diagram. Otherwise, you are in obligation to use it, because this is the only tool that you can integrate too many variables at the same visual presentation. This is another way, and again, you can use this through the PPP files, PowerPoint presentation. You can use it, and there are minor training how to do this through the smart graphics. You can use it even ready through some of them are ready, but in other situation or other circumstances, you have to adapt the ready-made format or concept maps, including in the PowerPoint presentations. For example, if you need 2 subcategories and you want to take 4, for example, if you don't find 4, you have to do it manually. So you need to use the tab key and the enter key, to adjust the graphics and concept maps as per your research needs. If I'm talking about the hierarchical concept maps of customer satisfaction, I can initiate 2 subcategories: product quality and customer service. And if I'm talking about customer service, response time and helpfulness, or speed in their service, or we can call something in a customer service environment or business process outsourcing facilities, we can have an average handling time, AHT. AHT is an average handling time. We have also call ratios and first call resolution, FCR, or first call resolution. That means I'm tracking and assessing the key performance indicators or KPIs of the customer service performance into how much speed they are, what is the response time or AHT, and what is average handling time of each call. What is first call resolution means I'm calling any of the customer service agent and my problem is resolved in one call. So I don't need to call back again. I don't need to ask the customer service agent to escalate the call to a supervisor or a manager. I don't like to drop and call once I'm not free to call at another time. So it creates customer dissatisfaction. And in BPO environment, we do have lots of techniques to manage the customer satisfaction and increase and enhance the quality management in the facilities. Product quality, I'm tracking some performance and durability, like checking the expiry date and what are the performance of the people in charge to replace any products that are expiring soon, for example, and reflecting. So it's all a hierarchical concept map for customer satisfaction. If I do have fresh products on the shelves at any business outlet, and I do have a good customer service, so I do have 100% customer satisfaction is very high. I don't like to go and try to search over the shelves to find a new production for any products, especially the fresh products. I don't like to look for the hidden products that are new, top new, hidden, and put the expired product at the front to let the customer pick them. But it will be much more better word of mouth for people who are going to warehouses and facilities to pick up some foods or grocery, and I can find every product is fresh, new production data, and how do you call customer agent is available at any time to help and support very nice smile that is not worthy and costing anything, but it is having a very high impact and revenue on the customer satisfaction in any business. Like the flow chart example, let's jump to the CSR or customer service, corporate social responsibility, sorry. I want to start from the start. I would like to create it, and this will be needing some adaptation because actually the ready-made format on the PPP files, you will have this as rectangles, and you need to change the visual mode to have some academic design to match the flow chart example. So the start point, firstly, you need to go to identify CSR goals. What are the community needs matching with and aligned with your research? Design what kind of CSR programs. And from the identifying the research goals, you need to allocate budget. What are my goals and what is my budget? Because you need to be logical. You need to have a good rationale in your research. If you are identifying a high budget to reach your goals, but you must assess your financial capacity. So everything has to be aligned with the previous goal. Research community needs, so you need to implement some CSR programs to meet the research community needs. Throughout the design I'm making, design CSR program, I need to monitor and evaluate. How I can monitor and evaluate? Through adjusting and improve the programs, collecting some feedbacks, and then applying some techniques for the marketing and strategy plan, do, act, and then do again, or PDCA, plan, do, act, and act again. After the review and implementation, you are collecting feedback, you are analyzing your feedback, and through the analysis for the feedback, it comes through the qualitative analysis, and you need to have another plan as per the feedback of your customers, report the result, and then you can reach the end, or you can start again throughout the collection of the feedback collection, and the result, if it didn't meet your research goals here, you have to start again and go up again and identify what was the review of the implementation plan to adjust and rectify the results. Concept maps actually in coding have a very clear structure of coding themes, and it can help to have a visual representation, flexibility as per the codes develop, and collaboration. So flexibility, how can you have flexibility? For example, if you are trying to have 3 phases interviews or 3 stages of focus group into your research, as per the first analysis from the first interview, you can adjust your research questions and scripts to use it to reach what you need exactly as per the results reached or generated from the first interview. You can have some kind of flexibility because you are exploring and detecting what's happening throughout the first analysis. Once you have the clear concept maps into your coding throughout the coding for the scripts coding, you can adapt as per the coding developed in the second interview and so on. There might be some challenges for sure. If the data are too much, as I was telling you, or too much variables, it will be very hard, or at least you are going to use some annoying techniques like the spider techniques, and it will be not really very clear to everyone. So starting from the beginning, narrow down your themes, narrow down your coding, focus on the focus point of your research. Subjectivity also is one of the challenges, because researchers might have a critical interpretation different from each other. Each one can have a different view from another angle that the researcher is viewing the subject, and then it's not a matter of correct or wrong. It's a matter of different persons have different opinion and may have a different interpretation. If you are just very focusing and you look sad, one of the researchers or one of the people can say he is very sad, but the person is not sad, he is just focusing. So it's a different, it is subject to subjectivity, because it's a different analysis. Why you are very sad? It happens to me many times. Sometimes I'm just deep focusing on any subject, and I have someone to say, why you are very sad? I'm not sad, I'm just focusing. I looks like distracting or a bit sad, but it's not the case. It is just I'm deep focusing and I'm not aware about my visual appearance, how it looks like, and it comes from there. So subjectivity also, you do have different opinion from different people as per their culture, as per their education, as per different other aspects. Time consuming, yes, because if you are proceeding for interviews and you are trying to arrange with 20 people, for example, it will be very hard for you. So as a qualitative researcher, especially if you are using interviews or focus group, try to minimize, reduce your sample as much as possible, especially if you are dealing with executive levels. No one has time. Try to use all the time executive summary to be to the point, straightforward questions, clear. Deliver this script with interview or participants enough time before. Otherwise, you will have some unusual circumstances and lots of apologies, and you won't be capable to duplicate or replicate your interview timing as per everyone availability. So time consuming, yes, but if you are expert and you have just minimum experience about how you deal with, go straight forward. And also, if you are allocating 8 to 10 people, make your outcome, research outcomes based. If only 5 persons attend, it will be good for me to reach the same results, because you are expecting to have people who will apologize last time. And if you won't respect your research timing to finish or accomplish, so it will be a problem in your research schedule and planning, and you didn't include a good mitigation plan into your research since the start. Lastly, before we end, not all the concept map makers are strictly academic focus. The top academic one, you do have the very famous one, NVivo. You do have XMind, you do have GitMind, you do have FreePlan, you do have Mind42. All these kind of software, they are available. Some of them are free of charge. They are not restricted, but the best of the best. I personally use the NVivo, and it is very practical to think before you decide which methodology you are going to use and why. Just focus how can you will get your tools to analyze the data. Are you ready to purchase NVivo? Yes or no? A spare, yes or no? You are going to drive through and you are going to have an alternative data. And if the alternative source. And if the alternative source is not convenient for your educational setting or research, so you have to go through another third and fourth and fifth alternative until finding the best way to that. So most commonly with the conclusion and discussion, so we have some key takeaways. Concept maps actually are very valuable tool in the qualitative research. However, it must be after the coding process. The coding process first. Break down your research questions and data into small chunks, small pieces, cut everything, every word into small pieces, analyze, make the coding, create some links and interlinks to create and drive through the concept maps, visualize your framework to better have a good view about the research problem. So they are the best tools to create the concept map for qualitative analysis. And you can have a clear vision about the research outcome. It can also be very helpful to integrate with the quantitative sources and analysis, and you can drive through wonderful and impressive outcomes. So I can thank everyone for your attentive listening until here, and sorry to be a bit late. Now I welcome any questions from anyone or any chat moderation. So please share with me and I'll be ready to ask any queries for you, reply.
I would like to say at this point that we have a lot of attendees, which is great if you ask me, and they are all here to listen to you, Dr. Bakr, and I believe this is very positive, right?
Thank you so much.
We really thank you for this presentation. It is enlightening. Thank you very much. Okay, so we will start now with the questions, as I can see that we have a lot of them coming in. Hello, I am Tris Hardiado from Indonesia. Welcome. Okay. Qualitative research relies on coding to uncover themes and patterns. How do we ensure our interpretations are accurate? Okay, can the researcher's perspective shape the findings more than the data itself? Understanding the challenges of subjectivity, consistency, and ethical representation in coding is key to meaningful qualitative analysis. Are we coding for clarity or creating new bias? For example, I collect data from a community with a different language and who are not familiar with English. Is it by using recordings which are then translated, coded? What is the justification for this? Because there is a possibility of bias. I know it is quite big. If you want me, I can repeat it, yes?
Not all, but just I'm trying to precise what needed exactly from this long question.
Yes, I'm going to break it down, starting from how to ensure our interpretations are accurate.
So actually, in any qualitative research, you do have to include into your ethics consideration any kind of bias. So throughout using the softwares like NVivo or throughout addressing keywords to track the frequency of any interviews or surveys. So you are free of bias. So you are just tracking, you are just identifying what are the key points to analyze. And regardless your opinion, because you are not doing manually, you are tracking throughout the software. If you are worried about the bias, especially if you are having some interview or script through the video interview or recording, etc., you you need to use software, so you don't have any chance. And also, even if you are assessing and analyzing the videos for the interviews and focus group, you need to share with the participants as per the consent that you let everyone sign before. You need to see and check with every participant if anyone has any concern about your analysis. For what reason? To avoid the bias. To avoid the bias, maybe my point of view, it is subject to my point as per my culture. However, if I'm sharing with Marina now and I'm saying you did that, you mean that, Marina is going to say, no, I didn't mean that. So you need to change the output here because it is not reflecting what I want to say. So no researcher has the right to publish the outcome unless sharing the outcome with the participants, and it must be among the ethics approval of your research. And everyone should confirm, I'm happy to publish and have a copy of this before the publication. They are totally right, even in the anonymous research, and you don't like to mention participants' name, but they do have the rights to have a copy of your research outcomes before publishing.
Thank you very much for this, Dr. Bakr.
Thank you.
Can a researcher's perspective shape the findings more than the data itself? That was the next part of the this long question.
Analyzing, I'm sorry, Marina, can you say again?
Yes, yeah. Of course. Can a researcher's perspective shape the findings more than the data itself? The researcher's perspective.
I'm not asking to analyze. I'm asking to divide or to break down the information or data you want to analyze, because how can the qualitative software understand what you need to do? You need to focus, so you need to do in what basis your research question or research your interview questions are tailor-made based on your research topic and questions. Okay. Why you are asking me in this question if it is not reflecting and dropping the answer into your gap pool to fill the gap? If it is not replying or answering your research gap, or it is aligning with your research question, so it must be a problem with the research questions themselves.
Very good. Okay, we have a student saying that is doing a PhD in education with UNICAF Zambia. Suppose you took qualitative research method on performance of learners. However, apart from interviews, focus group discussion, etc., we'll want to check how students have been passing over some years using pass rates and compare this with data collected in the interviews and observations. Can it be okay that I combine my method with quantitative?
Absolutely, yes. If even it is linked to some part with the critical incident theory, so they have the right to link if there is published data matching your research to avoid paying any extra fees or to purchase any software to do that, or to have some more triangulation by combining both qualitative and quantitative, it absolutely at the same direction. So it won't be any problem to combine both of them.
Quantitative data analysis requires a certain minimal sample size, which the qualitative interview sample size may not have. So how would you justify the validity and reliability of the quantitative results derived from the qualitative data?
I must proceed for triangulation before assessing. So it depends on your research topic. So each research has a different situation and different case. So in each research, as per your research, you need to identify, and before identifying, you need to decide what will be the sample size if you are going to use any of qualitative or quantitative research analysis. So you need to identify, is that will be easy for me to convert this data and perform? Because if you are selecting, for example, a sample of 5,000 or 500, are you capable to convert the data into visual presentation to everyone, if you do have lots of conflicts, lots of different opinions, so you should answer yourself this question. How can I will be able to convert this numerical data, regardless qualitative or quantitative? Because both of them, by the end of the day, you are going to convert qualitative data to numerical data. And both of them, they will be published throughout visual presentation. If you are not forecasting what you will be doing and including some mitigation plan into your identifying the samples, it will be a problem to accomplish the research, and there will be some, as we said in project management, some critical paths that you didn't identify.
Thank you very much for this.
Thank you.
When triangulating qualitative data into the SPSS, do we classify it as mixed method, and must we introduce hypotheses?
Not necessary, actually. If it is purely quantitative, as per the research as well. So it depends on the research topics. It depends on what are the best way to analyze your data. For example, in my research, I use the mixed method, and I didn't have hypothesis to implement, to integrate. So it depends on the research. If it is necessary to do that, it has many answers or reply as per the research topics, as per your research question, as per the area, as per your restrictions, as per lots of alternative answers that we can predict. We cannot predict in advance. But however, both of them mixed is considered a mixed method, which is stronger and credible than using only one, because you are using statistic published over the scholarly sources. You are integrating into qualitative. Even if you would like to avoid bias as much as possible, try to integrate, to make some kind of triangulation with your qualitative research with YAMNIMI. That's what I did in my PhD research. Once I was breaking down the data published over the scholarly source and the governmental official websites, I was making my own analysis to strengthen and to make some truthness and create much more triangulation in the data generated. So I was extracting data from their official website to strengthen what I reached through my analysis. So we can do both.
Thank you very much for this. Is coding and concept maps in qualitative research applicable in a desk research?
What do you mean by desk research? I'm not quite sure. I'm not very familiar.
Maybe secondary.
Secondary. No, it is most commonly in primary sources. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for this.
Yeah.
How does the triangulation model look like after the concept maps in data coding?
No, I didn't get the question's meaning exactly. Can you say
in
again?
relation? Yes, of course. In relation to the concept maps, how does the triangulation model look like in the data coding?
Triangulation is mixing both qualitative and quantitative. As I was saying, I believe I already answered this as I was integrating in my research qualitative research. I was implemented critical incident theory, and I was integrating some quantitative published open source access data to enhance the triangulation and credibility of what I did. So it has nothing to the coding itself. Just to avoid, in some of the occasions, we are all human. And I'm all the time stressing on the part of we are human. So it's a matter of subjectivity. Everyone can have a different opinion, can have a different analysis, can understand the same subject from a different point as per the background, ethics, and culture. And to avoid the bias, try all the time to integrate a complementary tool, and the best way is a mixed methods to apply, or methodology.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for this. We have a comment from a student on the research on the Australian students that was spot on. My son suffered rejection of his continuation for only one semester just because he inadvertently missed a few weeks of class due to some confusion in communication from the university. We had to move to another university to another country, and for which Australia lost income. This is just to confirm that your finding can be generalized to a larger sample that was interviewed. So a larger sample that was not interviewed.
Again, it is very close to my research. I was generating testimonials and word of mouth through people from China, from UK, from another Arab countries, from India, from Australia, from different states. And I was linking and interlink. You need to gather data from everywhere. You need to to have similar research and publication through the same subject or research topic, and link and interlink all of them to the same intention of your research focus. So it's not a matter to be in Australia or outside Australia. It is very aligned of the students' satisfaction that I was analyzing in 335 page. It is very critical to consider, because if you don't use a good CRM system and you don't have a good aligned system to correlate, that's why I was advising the Australian government to link a CRM global national system with all the universities in all different states to report what are the student sentiments and analysis of these sentiments. This is very critical, and I believe I'll have very soon one publication about multilingualism with the UNICAF online journal, as well as I'm preparing for 8 different projects, pitfalls and errors in Australia, and it will be published very soon. It's a matter of business organizational behavior and governmental performance.
Thank you very much for this information. We have one in regards to how best a maximum of 3 research questions may suffice an in-depth examination of a certain research study. I would like to understand this. We have a student. How best a maximum of 3 research questions?
I don't understand what only 2 to 3 research question. What is the question? Is 2 to 3 question maximum? It is very enough.
Is it enough? Yes, for an in-depth. I'm so sorry for this. For an in-depth examination.
Absolutely, yes. Because my research, I was analyzing 6 different concepts, CRM, CSR, and USR, University Social Responsibility. In a different parallel concepts, I was analyzing liminality, marginalization, and mental health. And one third question, I was analyzing the interlinks and links between the 6 approaches and concepts. So it has to be like this. It has to be as per your research questions. You need to draft your coding, you need to draft your research concept maps, and you need to draft your research paradigm and design, and you need to include some kind of philosophy to match the epistemology, axiology, and ontology, and to link this to the reality, the knowledge, and the value that your research is going to complement to existing scholarly works.
Yes, this is clear. Thank you for this.
No problem.
Qualitative research means non-numerical approaches to data collection. Do we have to use numerical data analysis process if we use only qualitative data collection methods?
What do you mean? Do you have to analyze numerical data? For sure, yes. If you have numerical data, you need to convert this to visual presentation, and you need also to not to satisfy many papers I was marking and grading in some of the universities are only very happy and satisfied about inserting tables. This is a failing paper because only tables do not explain what you need to do. Only numerical part, especially the big part, it has to be assessed and proceed to critical analysis and create and generate visual presentation, because numbers are very difficult to many of us to understand. And if you are converting, simplifying this in visual presentation and making the critical deep analysis, it will make your paper very insightful, and you will deliver your message very clear to your audience.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
In regards to the use of softwares, we have a few different types, with each having its own risks and benefits. Where does the ethical use of artificial intelligence softwares position in such a challenge? Meaning, are there only a specific list of softwares which can be used for specific analysis?
This is very, very smart and tricky questions, actually. Actually, if I will say not allowed, as per many universities I'm teaching, to use AI, we are fully aware that there are plenty of sources for AI sources to eliminate, to track the AI. So many students are using the AI, and we are quite sure, but we don't have evidence, actually. We don't have evidence because they are also at the same time using another AI platform to erase, to track the AI score and pretend that this is a true score. You can, everyone proceeding for master degree, it is completely restricted to generate a full text through the AI, because it is not your own work. It is a plagiarism. It is 100% plagiarism. However, if you are just using the AI to support you to find some references, and I did some examples to try to find example, just to share with everyone that AI is generating fake sources. If you are going to check the DOI for some of the sources, you will find the DOI is not existing. So I made sometimes samples of tests to identify how it looks like, to be able to mark the paper I'm marking. But however, if you are using to paraphrase, everyone, many people, including me, are not native English. So we have the right, as a higher degree, especially the doctoral studies, where this webinar is made especially for them. You do have funds for proofreading. You do have funds to go for editing company and places to have a proofreading of your research, because you must write properly and express your thoughts and idea clearly. So this is the editing. Now with the technology, I believe it's very comfort for everyone to use a proofreading of AI tool. However, it is the sole responsibility for the researcher to include the in-text citation after paraphrasing, and to include the references through the EndNote software or manually. And I recommend for doctoral study to use the EndNote software to integrate all kind of referencing style. It can save plenty of time, and it is very accurate. And you will have very minor, small work to do to edit some of the references that are not properly correct.
Okay, perfect. Okay, we have a question here. Can you please elaborate more on the two main characteristics of concept maps, including propositional structure and hierarchical structure?
Hierarchical. You want to go back to the slide for hierarchical structure?
We have, yes. So the question is two main characteristics of concept maps, including propositional structure and hierarchical structure.
Okay, just 1 second. I'm going to share. So two main structure actually. You want to break your coding, your main subject for coding, like the customer service, for example. So the main topics that you are going to divide or to break down each factor that can be derived as a link or interlink with the customer satisfaction, and you can generate from the first heading to create another 2 subheadings or 3 subheadings or 4 subheadings, etc. And each subheading or subsidiary derived from the initial coding or keywords that you would like to analyze, to draft and design your map, to generate a visual presentation matching and clarifying the links and interlinks with each other, or the keywords you are going to analyze. And I believe it's mostly clear to use it in many research, because it's easy. It's very easy to use it. It's very easy to link and adapt to your research. It's very convenient to many different research at the same time, so you don't have any specialization or characteristics that it's not complex. It's very easy, simple to use it, and you can adapt and identify as per your research questions and coding.
And I believe we are ready to finalize the seminar by the last questions, all relating to sharing, whether we are sharing the recording.
Yes, I'll be publishing the recording on my LinkedIn page. I'll be posting to the people who I'm teaching with the University of East London on the LMS or Moodle. And I'll be also publishing on my YouTube channel that I'm sharing lots of different courses and subjects I'm talking about, and some previous seminars I have already. So it will be free of charge access for everyone who would like. Just go to the slide that I'm going to share with you now.
I believe
yeah.
Sorry, I believe it will also be on the Help Center.
Yes, thank you very much for this, Ms. Christiana. So apart from this, and thank you very much for sharing the code, Dr. Bakr, we are going to share it on the Help Center. Okay, so our doctoral students at UNICAF University will be able to access it from there.
And also for the master degree as well, I'm usually posting to my students for better knowledge about the seminars I'm presenting as well.
So yes, it's going to be on the YouTube as well. And I believe that we have come at the end. I would like to thank you very much, Dr. Bakr, for this insightful presentation.
Thank you so much, Marina.
Thank you very much for being with us. I believe you have been a great assistance to all our attendees. Thank you very much, Ms. Christiana, for being here and assisting us. I would like to say a big thank you to our attendees for being here with us today. I hope this has been a successful seminar for you. I wish you all the best to your research, to you too, Dr. Bakr, with
thank you.
Your presentations, and have a nice rest of the day. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you so much, and please everyone stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.